What's up YouTube, Demi here. Today's video is a Demi Splains on investment opportunities for Standard League when this league ends, Incursion, right? I do these videos every league or so. I can link the previous league in the description below this video, but I want to talk about all of the potential profit that you can make by bringing stuff from league to Standard, right? So I talk about this stuff every league, but the main thing that I usually go for is currencies and essences, personally. This league I did not do that as much. I kind of did. I got a bunch of annulments, I guess. And I was going to go for divines, but instead I made a couple of stupid builds and spent all of my currency from the headhunter on that, right? But I'll show you why. So if you look at things like the top currencies, well, let's start with mirrors. In standard, a mirror right now is about 260 to 270 exalts. This guy has 10, 18 of them, you know, normal amounts of mirrors to have. But in league, this is softcore, by the way, softcore league. In league, they're about 140, 150-ish, right? So if you bring a mirror over, you instantly profit 120 exalts or so, right? That's nearly double your currency, but it does take a lot of currency to be able to do that investment, obviously, right? A lot of players never going to have 150x lying around. So if you look at smaller things like annulment orbs, for example, in league, annulment orbs are 8 to 10 chaos. In standard, they are 18 to 20 chaos. So it's the same exact thing. You're doubling your currency, but it's a much smaller amount of investment required to do that. I was buying these for like 6 to 10C at the beginning of the league. That's why I have the ones that I have, and I stopped buying them after a while because I was just like, I don't want to spend money on this right now. But I could have kept doing it the entire league, right? And just like trickled out all of the currency I was making from mapping, from crafting, from selling all my stuff. I could have converted the 60 exalts on the headhunter into annulment orbs, and I would have made a lot of currency doing that, right? Especially if I was buying them at like 6 chaos and then selling them for 20C in standard, which is just pretty good. Other opportunities, divine orbs. The reason that I was farming the waterways and oh god, what's the map called? Channel maps at the beginning of the league was for the div cards for Tabula, Humility. Those give you a divine, because if you've entered any 6 link, you get a divine orb, right? Divine orbs in league, 12 to 13 chaos. Divine orbs in standard, 26 chaos. Double your money instantly. All you gotta do is buy divines, right? So that's like the basics of currency. You can do the same thing with essences, for example. Reset this. So Incursion, Essence, let's look at a Essence of Hysteria, for example, and for Chaos. In Standard, if you do Essence of Hysteria, I don't even know if people are selling them for Chaos. Yeah, 40 to 50 to 60 Chaos, right? In League, they're like 10C. Essences can be incredibly good profits if you bring them over to Standard because of players like me who are like, I need to do a crafting session with essences. I need 1,000 essences. Nobody has that many essences, so I have to spend like 10 days buying them for 40C at a time and just like waiting. But if somebody brings a bunch over from League, like a bunch, we're talking like hundreds of them, then I will buy all of them at once and pay a lot higher price just to get it out of the way, right? And I'm not the only player that does that, I'm just using myself in this example. Any of the higher tier essences are probably worth doing that with. I don't know how much horrors are in League. Yeah, it's like 30 to 40. And then in Standard, I think they're over an X. Yeah, they're like 1.5x, 2x for a single essence. So if you could bring these over, this is like 5 times your money, right? I would not recommend bringing over pure exalted orbs. People always they're like, should I just bring over exalts? Just straight X? And I'm like, you can, but the thing about PoE is that everything in this game is always related in currency compared to exalts, right? So yeah, you could bring over exalts, buy them for 71 chaos, sell them for 100 chaos, 110 chaos, but that's like 1.5 times your money. We've been talking about all the other ones being 200% of your money, 2 times your money. This is just not a good investment. I would rather you spend the currency on these exalted orbs instead of buying the exalted orbs, or by spending these exalted orbs on literally anything else, other currencies or essences, will be better. That being said, we can go into the types of items that I would be bringing back from Standard. So Abyssal Joules, for example, if you're looking for very, very specific Abyssal Joules for like builds in League or in Standard, this is the jewels that I'm trying to find for my Flying Purple People build, my Lacerate Slayer. I've been looking for very specific jewels on that character for a long time, and they don't exist. Like, I'm looking for tier 1 life, tier 1 phase, and attack speed, and they just don't exist. There are none. There haven't ever been any from what I've seen. None have ever shown up in any league, in any thread, no matter what. And I've been looking at those for a while, but that being said, those jewels are like an X or two, right? If you look for those same exact jewels in Standard, they cost a lot more, potentially, if they got good rolls, right? Like this one I'm actually debating buying in standard, because it's like T2, T2, T1, T1. But 60 exalts for an Abyssal Joules is kind of dumb. This is the best one that I've ever found, and it's T2, T1, T2, T2. It's close to being perfect, but it's also for maces, and I'm starting to use axes all the time, so it's a bit awkward. Other types of items, remember this is Incursion League, so you can get a lot of Incursion mods on gear. I actually set up a search to find items that are like triple T1 prefix or triple T1 suffix items, and I'm trying to get those. I've grabbed quite a few, but this, for example, just to show you a couple options, like this is a life hybrid, and then the movement speed, dodge attack, or dodge spells, or movement speed if you haven't been hit recently mods from Incursion. There's a lot of like good mods you can get only from Incursion League. Let me pull up the website for it. You can see what I'm talking about. Sorry, I should have had that ready to go. Alright, here's a website, right? I'll link this in the description, but this is all the mods that you can get on anything that has to do with Incursion League. So some of these are for weapons, some of these are for not, or for like boots, gloves, whatever. I've been looking mostly at boots and gloves and helmets and a couple ring stuff. But more or less what you're going to do is you're going to look for a tier 1 roll from, or not tier 1 roll, an Incursion roll. Like on a weapon you would look for physical damage, physical is extra chaos, and then like flat physical damage, and then some other good prefix. So you could find a triple T1 prefix weapon, for example, and then bring it back to standard, metacraft the suffixes. So these boots I've been looking for, they're life hybrid prefixes, and then movement speed and dodge or spell dodge, whatever prefixes, right? And I've gotten a couple of them. Where are they? Like this one, for example, is, I believe it's T2 life, T1 hybrid with T1 movement speed, dodge spell hits. Good prefixes. It's a decent item level, so I can metacraft for good suffixes. Could potentially make a mirror item out of it. I don't know, right? Then when it comes to helmets, I've been looking for like Fizz Taken as X with a resistance. So you can get Fizz Taken as fire, Fizz Taken as lightning, Fizz Taken as cold, plus that tier 1 resistance. Then I've just been looking for other T1 or T2 rolls, suffixes as well. This helmet I'll actually be metacrafting for Flying Purple People, because like I'm using a Devoto's, right? And it has Dex and Chaos Res on it, which I need. So I've got a helmet with those two mods, then I got one of the Fizz Taken as X mods so that I can get more Fizz mitigation out of the helmet. And then when I do the prefixes, I'll just go for life hybrid, get a relevant enchant, be good to go. This one, for example, is, let's see, T2 strength, T2 lightning, and then T1 cold, Fizz Taken as cold, right? Pretty simple stuff. These are all bases for myself personally in standard. If you're not playing on metacrafting, or you just want to bring back stuff to sell, then yeah, look for a finished item most likely. But I got a lot of stuff like this. So here's another helmet. This is a mana reservation helmet. Same thing. I went for the mana reserved, which is a Incursion mod. Then I got hybrid life and T1 life. I think that's T2 and T1 for helmets, which is pretty good. And it's a 95 helmet, so you could make one of those reduced mana reservation life-based bots with this, which is pretty sweet. Gloves, there's a lot of glove options, so you can get damage against chilled enemies, right? So this is a T2, T2, T1 suffix base. You can get crit strike chance against shocked enemies, lightning res, so I got that plus T2 strength, T2 accuracy. Pretty good suffixes. This one's pretty cool. It's T2 strength, T1 accuracy, and T1 lightning, and crit against shocked enemies. All those are suffixes. I can craft these bases later. This helmet is another mana reservation helmet. It's the life hybrid mana reservation, and it has lightning trap pen, which is cool. I actually didn't know this was an enchant until I looked up these helmets, and I found that one. But I can show you, for those of you that don't know how to set up a search like this, here, this is the mana helmet one. So you go for, this is for specifically Fizz Taken as fire mod. So I have all three of those set, and it has to have one of them, so it's count 1. And then the other mods that I was looking for has to have at least 92% res, which would be this res plus another T1 roll, and then T2 strength or higher, right? There's a couple of them, not many. And these are all just bases for me to bring back to standard. They're all good suffixes, so then I would just bring this back and metacraft for life hybrid prefix. Done. Good item, right? It gets a little bit more complex the more you want to look at. Like these gloves, for example, this is everything at once. So this is a tier 1 suffix with either fire against burning, hits against chilled, shock against crit, or crit against shocked, whatever, right? So it has to have that, a resist plus one of those, so 2 of these mods. and then any other good suffix times 2. So it'll have either attack speed, accuracy, strength, and dex, right? Any of those mods all at once. So triple T1 suffixes basically. And what you do is you just look for ones that have decent item levels and an open prefix. So this one has suffix, suffix, prefix, suffix, right? So 3 suffix, 1 prefix. You could easily buy that and craft it in standard. This one is the same. It's got 3 suffixes and 1 prefix for 5 chaos. Like, they're very cheap, and there's a lot of them listed. So like, I would just like bring a couple things over if you want to sell them later. That being said, there's like a million other types of items, like weapons I didn't even get into at all. There's a billion weapon mods you could go for, like these attack speed added chaos damage rolls, or the poison stuff, or the minion trap stuff is really cool. You just gotta like look through all the items available and bring some over if you want to craft them standard, or just sell them later. It's totally up to you. The percent max life rolls on rings potentially are really cool. Like really cool. If you can get like a good ring with like say phase 2 attacks, weapon elemental damage, and then percent life, that'd be a really insane base to bring over to metacraft suffixes on. But the downside with this is that none of these bases are going to be shaped or elder. They can't be, so that's why I'm going for things like gloves that don't really need shaper mods as much. What else can you potentially bring over? I don't know. There's a lot of options. If you guys have any other options you want to talk about in the comments, leave them there. I do want to say that every time I make a video like this, I lose the opportunity to invest in these items because a lot of you guys are going to see this video and then buy everything out, which is like what's the word for it? Double-edged sword. Like, I want to help you guys. I really do. That's why I make videos like this. I'm doing it like a month in advance, month and a half before the league ends, so you have a lot of time to make the investments. But I'm not going to bring anything over beyond this. I made sure I got my little couple things that I needed, and then I'm done for the league, basically. My challenges are done. I hope that you guys had a good league. Where's the challenge button? I'm at 36, so I'm good there. I got the portal. I hope you had a good league. I hope if you do the race, we don't know anything about the race yet. I'm hoping it's another race where you can get challenges so that people can finish their challenges in the race season, which would be pretty cool. Oh, I forgot to say, if you can bring back league specifics, I always forget to mention these. League specifics are a huge profit source. Like, if you can bring back finished Soul Catcher flasks, for example, the Vol skill flasks, great. If you're rich enough to afford a Zerfi's Heart. If that doesn't go core, this league, like, if this league doesn't go core, those things are going to be worth like hundreds of exalts or mirrors in league. Or in standard, sorry. They're going to be really expensive. But yeah, I don't really know what else I was going to say with that sense. So yeah, leave your comment below if you are making investments like this. If you can find perfectly rolled Abyssal Joules or rare jewels, whatever, cheap shaped items, insanity gloves, whatever you might be able to find, bring it back to standard. Make those giant sales, and then you can start playing standard with like a head start in currency. If you want to become like an extreme crafter like I am later on, it's a good way to start. Just like make some money in league, bring it back, and just do whatever the hell you want at that point. But I hope this video was helpful. I hope you guys learned something. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post a new video basically every day. If you want to help support me in what I do, I have links to my merch below this video in the description, and I have links to my Twitch stream and my Patreon. You can catch me over there all the time if you want to ask questions. So I'll see you guys in the next video. That'll be Demi out. Thanks for watching.